Hello everyone and welcome to the 2014 Tough One Hard-Enduro. We're on hallowed grounds here in Shropshire, England for the 10th anniversary of this challenging race. We're at Hawkstone Park this year, a venue rich in race history, and it's the toughest field of riders this event has ever seen. Many of them used to come here to watch the races as young boys. Now they'll race it as men. The sun is shining, the spectators are filing in, and the riders are getting ready. It's time to see who will be crowned the Tough One. And here we go. The riders are on the starting grid. They will all race for 3 hours, and when Steve Ireland drops the flag, it will be a mad dash to their bikes in an all-out scramble for the whole shot.
Yeah, we're at the start of the Tough One now, and it's going to be hard, running on the sand to get a good start, but it's a long 3-hour race, so...
Yeah, just see what happens off the start. If I get a bad start, then I'll just be able to sit back a little bit and go through. If I get a good start, then just try and go and see what happens.
Okay, then we are ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. The flag is about to drop for the pro class now. 3-hour race. Here we are, we're away. Tough One 2014 about to begin. The pro class riders are on the bikes and away.
As expected, number 2 Red Bull KTM rider Johnny Walker gets off to a flying start. He is chased by the 5-time winner David Knight on the number 3 blue and white Sherco.
So we're at Hawkstone Park in Shropshire, one of the most iconic and historic off-road motorcycle venues in the UK. There's a few reasons why war events have moved the Tough One, the running of the Tough One to Hawkstone Park. The event's grown and grown over the last few years, and Nantmile Quarry, which was its home, was fantastic, but we had really outgrown it, the event had outgrown it. It's a natural progression for us to come here. We looked at the venue regularly and thought, it's got everything to host the Tough One in one nice chunk of land, and it's come together really well. It's everything we expected it to be.
It's a completely different venue to Nantmile. Just the terrain, it's like sandy, and just the time of year as well, a bit later in the year, so the weather's better, it's going to be a lot drier. It's got the whole motocross track in more or less, and then some fast bits in the woods as well. It's going to be close racing and probably no room for error at all. When you're pushing that far at them speeds for 3 hours, it's difficult not to make a mistake.
It's a new venue, so no one really knows what to expect, but all I know is it's sand, so it's what I love to ride on, and it's going to make a good race.
I think it's going to be different for everybody. For me, it should suit me, to be honest. I feel I'm underprepared a little bit, but I think the track should suit me. It'll suit Johnny pretty well. Graham, maybe not so much. So we'll see, but you never know. Graham could go there and smoke as well. I don't know how the track's going to be. It might be stupidly hard. It could be pretty easy, I don't know.
We've got David, 5-time winner of the Tough One. He's going for his 6th. We've got Graham, 3-time winner, going for his 4th. I'd like to see a new winner. Johnny Walker's going for his 1st. He was 2nd last year, so it'd be nice to see him improve. They're all going to be challenged, I know that. They're all going to be physically shattered. Whoever wins it, it's truly going to be the Tough One.
As Johnny Walker continues his lead, Knight is quickly gaining. Number 6 Alfredo Gomez has taken 3rd place. The Spanish rider could be the dark horse today. German rider number 4 Andreas Lettenbichler is charging hard until he has a horrible crash.
You okay, man? You okay?
As the riders weave their way onto the motocross track, Knighter has taken the lead. The Manxman is back and now in control.
David Knight's a legend.
David Knight, he's been there and he's done it.
David Knight is
a beast.
The Isle of Man is synonymous with two things, the TT bike race and David Knight. We caught up with the world champion in his hometown as he prepares his comeback to the Hard-Enduro circuit.
I am David Knight. You know, the Isle of Man's a very famous place for motorcycling, of course, with the TT, and you know, I was born in TT week. I don't know when I can remember the race to, probably when I was 2 years old or 3 years old, something like that. But I've never missed one. Coming back to the extreme enduro now, I think I'm like just getting to the right age now, really, to race it. But for sure I'm going to win some races, but also I'm going to have some bad races or bad days in races. So for me it's just a learning year, not really any pressure on myself, and see what happens. I don't know what to expect, to be honest there. It's, you know, the tough one of old was in a quarry. This is in a sort of sandy motocross track, woods, big hills. For me it should suit me, to be honest. The tough one, of course, to win that British race. The only sort of big race in the country for the year, so it's very important to win on my side, you know. Every time I've raced it, apart from the 2009 year on the BMW, I've won. So this year's no different, really. Don't have to dig deep and you know, put all the last sort of couple of months mess-ups and problems that we've had behind us, and just try and dig deep and go for the win.
Back to the race, and the course is beginning to pound some of the less experienced riders. David Knight is extending his lead and looks to be pulling away. Second place, Johnny Walker knows he's not out of the fight and continues to attack. Suddenly, he sees Knight stalled on the track. Walker passes him by. He has reclaimed the lead. Number 9, Paul Bolton in the green jersey now holds second place, but he's only seconds in front of Alfredo Gomez, who's in third.
And here comes Bolton, number 9. Bolton goes through, and he's just ahead of number 6, Alfredo Gomez. About less than 20 yards separating Paul Bolton from number 6, Alfredo Gomez. And here comes David Knight. So Knight has had a major problem. It looks like the rear fender is snapped off. Rush. He's stopping briefly to get a fresh pair of goggles from his right-hand man.
Knight has lost almost 5 minutes to the leader, Johnny Walker. So far, number 1, Graham Jarvis, isn't having the race he was expecting. He chose to race a 4-stroke motorcycle as opposed to a 2-stroke in the hopes of an advantage in power during the race. It appears to have been an incorrect choice, but still, he has clawed his way into 5th place. It's just over an hour into the race, and now strategy comes into play with the pit stop. Given the size of the bike's fuel tanks, most of the riders will have to refuel twice. Here, the leader Johnny Walker makes his first stop. He still holds a commanding lead. Alfredo Gomez has overtaken Paul Bolton for second. The Spaniard is on course for his first podium of 2014. David Knight is riding like a man possessed. He's on the warpath, handling his 250-pound Sherco like it's a toy. Knight's quickly closing the gap with lap times that are 30 seconds faster than Walker's. Game on! Meanwhile, Andreas Lettenbichler's troubles with this bike continue from his earlier crash. he's falling further and further behind. And three-time consecutive winner Graham Jarvis rounds off the top 5. It's become a battle royale at Hawkstone Park. Until now, Johnny Walker has proved he can challenge Knight for the win. He held the early lead, then lost it only to regain it again. But unfortunately, his nightmare is about to begin. It's lap 10 and David Knight has passed both Alfredo Gomez and Paul Bolton. He's on a rampage now for Walker and that coveted 6th win.
You can do it, Johnny, come on!
Walker can feel the pressure now, and he starts making costly mistakes. Meanwhile, number 9, Paul Bolton, takes over 3rd place as number 6, Alfredo Gomez, decides to refuel. Lurking in the background is the silent assassin Graham Jarvis, who hasn't missed a podium result in almost 2 years. Does he have what it takes to catch the Spaniard and to make it an all-British podium? Alfredo Gomez has taken back the spot for 3rd place over Paul Bolton. These two have been battling all day. But up ahead, David Knight is charging like never before. His Sherco 300 is holding strong even with a missing rear fender. "2014 is the year of new factory deals for many of the top riders. Let's meet the men and their new machines."
So this is a 254 stroke. Pretty much like a standard bike, but on this one we've made a few changes, FMF exhaust particularly. Suspension, we're going to go a bit harder on this race, but nothing too different. Standard's pretty good. For the disc, and just for the shock there with the linkage, we've got a good protector there so it just slides over the rocks. Handlebars is a bit of a personal preference. These are 996 Renthal. On the front end, the tyres, we can change the tyres a bit with the golden tyres. We're going to run a bit harder tyre here where it's a bit faster.
This is the bike for the new season 2014. I have also special things on this bike, like exhaust system from Akrapovic, special handlebar from Renthal. For the cooling system I use a fan, special tires from Golden Tire, and this bike is the 250 EXC. I'm loving it.
Here we have my 2014 300 Sherco 2-stroke. Up front we've got 52mm cone valve factory WP4, along with the rear track shock. Got a 13-litre fuel tank on here for the race. Exhaust system, FMF gnarly front pipe, matched up with the FMF silencer. Just get that strong, smooth power that I've been looking for, and yeah, there you have it. Everything else is pretty much stock.
In Hard-Enduro, the competitors may win the race, but ultimately the track wins the war. The riders have been racing non-stop for well over 2 hours. Fatigue is setting in, and Hawkstone Park is eliminating them one by one. But not David Knight. He's got Walker in his sights.
2/3 of the race gone, 55 minutes to go. David Knight, after leading early on, wrapped up in some rope. He's pulled a 4-minute gap back on Johnny Walker.
With the 1 hour remaining as Johnny Walker comes charging into view in this beautiful English spring sunshine. Oh, Knight is in view! Knight comes storming through the right hander beneath the commentary box. David Knight on the Sherco, just incredible. It's the Manxman just looking completely bananas and wild-eyed, goes blasting past us now. The gap is down to 20 seconds. He's taken almost a minute out of Walker on that lap.
Even with a recent surgery for arm pump, he rides flat out, fighting through the pain and fatigue.
It's the worst thing in the world, you know, when you're riding, so I just decided to go and get it done. Probably the wrong time to get it done, but I had it done 2 weeks ago, so you never know, you might get the hooks and then, you know, pressure's on and it might just be again, but hopefully it's good, it feels pretty good, so.
Just got a radio call from the Chief Marshal.
Here comes David Knight now, immediately bursts into view.
David Knight has caught Johnny Walker. They are both now in the pits.
They're both in the pits together. Number 2, Walker, on his own in the middle of the pits. Knight right up beside. Knight's taking on goggles, whereas Johnny Walker is refueling the Red Bull KTM. Walker looks up despairingly and sees Knight hurtling towards the hill. He fires up now, he's on his way. So Johnny Walker now starts off up the hill in pursuit of Knight.
Walker refuels for the last time. This could be the opportunity Johnny needs because Knight will also have to refuel one more time. Now, he must stay close. Gomez, now in third, makes his last refueling stop. His lead is only seconds over his teammate Graham Jarvis, who is pushing for the last podium step.
So Alfredo Gomez comes down to the pits. Gomez glances anxiously over his shoulder because his team leader holds into view. Gomez has made a pit stop and Jarvis, number 1, is now right behind him. The gap now down to about 50 metres. Jarvis, number 1, getting stronger as the race goes on. Could he just creep onto the rostrum?
But just as the 3-time winner is about to strike, he makes a costly mistake.
And Jarvis looks as though he could be in trouble because he's picked the wrong line. Graham Jarvis definitely picked the wrong line now. Graham Jarvis suddenly has lost a good 15-20 seconds in that one section. So Graham Jarvis, having made up all that ground on Alfredo Gomez, suddenly lost it all just by taking the wrong line choice.
Before they were pros, every rider has dreams of racing on the perfect factory bike. This year, local rider Andy Cripps had his dream come true.
Big story of the weekend for me personally, and for a lot of the crowd. I'm going to come and see Andrew Cripps. Crippsy's a legend, a good friend of mine from years ago.
He's probably the most talented rider on the track, but probably the most undisciplined rider, so it always makes for good entertainment.
He's always a joker, and he'll be doing trials tricks or whatever he can do on anything. He's not going for a really good result. He's just going for a good ride and just to play around and have fun.
How are you doing? You doing or what? Well, I've come from trials, haven't I? We used to do trials all the time, British Championships and World Championships, and then moved on to Enduro. I think I've done the tough one like 7 times, 6 or 7 times, so.
And the guys landed a factory ride for the day, which is brilliant news. Gas, the factory, are giving him a contract for the day, a bike for the day, a mechanic for the day, his entry sorted.
Fix me bike for me. If I finish in the top 10, I'd let somebody shave my head. Because it needs it. I know, yeah.
He's an entertainer, and this chance has come through somebody else's unfortunate luck. You know, the other factory gas rider injured himself in training. Gas factory made contact with us. Could we recommend anyone? They'd still like to send the second bike. First name come into my head. I had to put him forward, and thank God it's all come off. And Andrew Cripps, number 26 in the pro class. Watch this man.
Even with his one-day factory ride, this local legend falls to the tough one. But he'll be back for more next year.
Got a massive
somersault and then landed on my back on a rock. So then I come free for like 10 minutes, so a bit of a bugger. So I'm off to go and get it checked out now.
With the 3-hour race nearing the end, the Tough One has lived up to its name. The battle for third continues. With Alfredo Gomez in his sights, Grimbo needs a flawless final push to keep his podium streak alive and make it a British top 3. While Gomez has held off the pressure of Jarvis, Johnny Walker is hot on the trail of Knight for the lead. But does Walker have enough in the tank to challenge the 5-time champion and to take his first Tough One win? On lap 15, Knight hits the pits for his final stop to push him to the finish. With Johnny seconds behind, it's Knighter's race to lose. After 3 hours on the bike and 18 grueling laps, David Knight proves his dominance. He conquers Hawkstone Park and takes the checkered flag as the 2014 Tough One champion.
Well done, mate. David. Well done, guys. Well done.
I just got rope around the rear wheel and it locked the back wheel up, and somehow it went around my foot and stuck my foot to the frame. Like I think it went around my foot and then around the wheel and tied my foot to the foot peg. I thought I was done then. It was good, and you know, Johnny had a good ride too. We were a hell of a long way ahead of everyone else, so yeah, that'll do me.
But you know, I pushed as hard as I could without wasting too much energy, and then all of a sudden, you know, the pit bar came out and he was catching me every lap by lap. So you know, I tried to push, but I had nothing left by the end, and he took the win.
The race was very good. It's quite long for me now because I'm getting hours on the bike after my appendicitis operation, but I'm very happy with my third place for me, for my team, and we'll see what happens on Exberg. I will push to win.
Although the 10th anniversary of the Tough One was at a new location, it proves to be as difficult as ever and solidifies itself as one of the hardest races on the circuit.
I'm stoked. I'm so proud of what we've achieved here. Where the Tough One's at, 10 years old. Never thought we'd get this far, but we have, and it's now sitting at the pinnacle of off-road events in the UK, Hard-Enduro.
On Knight's return to Hard-Enduro, he reclaims his place on the top of the podium and the title as King of the Tough One. Jarvis narrowly misses out on third. Paul Bolton completes the top 5. Johnny Walker now tops the world ranking, followed by Graham Jarvis and Andreas Lettenbichler. Next up for these riders, an assault of the Iron Giant at the Erzberg Rodeo. Until then, I'm Troy Mannering saying goodbye from Hard-Enduro and keep the rubber side down.